Okay, hello everyone. I am currently I am currently in the middle of my vacation here, and I am in Toronto again. This is probably the second and probably the last time I'm visiting Toronto for a while. And this trip has been really interesting because I traveled to New York. I went to New York for 3 days, and I also went to this other town called Guelph, and I just got back from that today. So most of this trip for the first week has been me traveling to all these other places. And I hadn't been really to New York before, but the last day I was there, I called up Democracy Now, and I asked them if I could sit in on a taping of the show, and they said yes. So on Tuesday, if you go and watch the Tuesday broadcast, I was sitting. The, well, I'll say this: I was there for the Tuesday broadcast. Um, Early in the morning, I showed up to the Firehouse studio. It really is an old. It was a former firehouse that they have turned into a studio. Um, uh, and I got to see how Democracy Now operates. And let me tell you guys something. This show, which does amazing things, operates on like a shoestring budget. Okay, that's the biggest impression I got throughout the entire time I was getting the tour. Their dressing room is just a public bathroom. Their makeup person is, well, as we were going through, Amy Goodman was getting her makeup and her hair done for the show, which really surprised me because Amy Goodman's hair and makeup looks awful. So I was like, why? I can't believe someone actually does this. Her makeup person had the worst looking makeup and clothes I've ever seen on anyone in my entire life. But anyway, um, uh, we took a look around. We saw the engineering room, the editing studio. Two people crammed into this little room with this equipment. And then we saw the set. The set is, you can't really tell how big the set is. You know how TV works, but the set is extremely small. Like basically, you could fit that table that Amy Goodman sits in front of. You could fit maybe three of those across, and that's the entire set right there. So there's her, there's the table, there's a teleprompter, and then right behind that teleprompter is where me and this other guy was standing. This other guy was a medical marijuana farmer from Mendocino, California. So me and him talked about farming and marijuana and all sorts of stuff, and we watched the show. And then after the show, we got to shake Amy Goodman's hand and talk to her and everything, and get a picture with her, which I'm still waiting to get the email back from the picture. And I wanted to talk to her about my YouTube channel because I wanted to tell her, I have a bunch of people who watch a show through YouTube, and I wanted to, instead of just having this awestruck, let's talk about a celebrity kind of thing, I wanted to really have a critical conversation with her about the show since I uploaded to this channel, and maybe address some of the complaints that some viewers have given me about the show. Like, Amy Goodman never talks about peak oil or the Amaro, the North American Union, or, it's just things like that. But the whole time, I kept trying to talk to her. It was amazing because as soon as the show ended, her attention span just turned into like seconds. So I would start explaining things, and she'd go, "Oh, that's amazing," and then she'd move on to something else. And then I try to get her back on track, and she'd be like, Really? You do this? Oh, that's amazing!" And then she'd go back to something else. And then this guy brought in this movie that's being made that used some of Democracy Now's audio from Katrina, and so there was a big thing about that. And then so I had no opportunity to speak really, so that was kind of unfortunate. So I decided just to kind of let it go. And I was gonna steal a coffee mug, but I decided at the last minute not to do that either. so, so, so yeah, I got to see Democracy Now, and I wanted to tell you all about it. For what it's worth. I don't really view Amy Goodman as a celebrity, and I really wanted to have a very serious conversation with her, and that didn't happen. But I was very happy to see the show. For what it's worth, I was happy to see a taping of Democracy Now. Yeah, so that happened. This trip has been very interesting. I've done a lot of things. Later that night on the bus ride back to Toronto, I sat next to a guy who just got out of prison for selling cocaine. That was also very interesting. And since I left New Orleans before I came here, I must have landed in some tree or plant or something because now I have hives that are spreading all over my body. So that's been really interesting too. Did a lot of walking. Almost got kicked out of a store. What other strange things have happened to me since I've been here? Went to the Coney Island Hospital. We'll never go back to that again. Never again. And then I went to Guelph, which is the town right outside of Toronto, and which has no black people, like 10 black people, and full of lesbians. Very strange. Full of lesbians. Lots and lots of lesbians. Yeah. Oh, and I went and visited my friend who lives in New York, who will remain nameless, but she is a former alcoholic and sex addict, so that was also very interesting. And I worked on a painting with her, which we'll see if that ever finishes. And I'm going to start working on another painting, which I'm going to try to finish before I go back home on Thursday. But anyway, that's where I'm at right now. I'm kind of really tired, but I'm having a nice vacation.